The Arkansas State Red Wolves building a team the old-fashioned way, and in year 3 of the Jaylen Raynor era, can they contend in the Sun Belt West? It's Locked on Sun Belt.
You are Locked on Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked on Sun Belt, your teams every day. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, if you haven't figured it out, we're going all through the West, and then we'll finish that up and go all through the East. All right, and we're just going through in order of the guys who sat with me at Sunbelt Media Days, and we're clipping highlights from that as well. And so it is time to talk to Butch Jones and the guys from Arkansas State, Jaylen Raynor and Brandon Barnes, defensive back. All right, and Arkansas State has built it from the ground up. Butch Jones came in with some highly touted recruiting classes, but it's going to take some time for those classes to mature, and they did. They went to a bowl game a couple of seasons ago, just missed out on winning that ball game. They did win the bowl game last year in Mobile, as it turns out, and now they are back for a third season of Jaylen Raynor, picked third in the Sun Belt preseason poll, but other people do not have very highly rated for Arkansas State. I do. I am thinking that they could contend in the West. There's not a lot of teams that have their quarterback back for a third season with the same coach. Arkansas State is one of them. So let's get to it. He is Butch Jones. He is in his 5th season with the Arkansas State Red Wolves, and he is locked on Sunbelt. Dave Schultz back at Sunbelt Media Days 2025. We're here with the head coach of Arkansas State, Butch Jones, kind of building the program the old-fashioned way. Get in there, get a couple of good recruiting classes, struggle for a couple of years. Now you're going to a couple of bowl games. You're coming off a bowl win, and I don't know how many teams have a quarterback that's basically starting his 3rd year, but you got one. What's it like seeing, all the hard work pay off?
Well, a lot of momentum, and I don't think you can ever forget where you came from. The first couple of years were a lesson in humility, but not deviating from your plan, being very intentional in what you do, and bringing quality individuals into your football program. And, Jaylen Raynor is an example of that. Not only is he a quality player, but an even better person. And he means everything to our football program. So it's been a journey. You talk about trust the process. It's been trusting the process. But when you look back, we're only one of 4 programs that have had 3 consecutive increasing their win totals. Our 8 wins tied us for the 3rd most wins in our 33-year FBS history of our university. And then beating Bowling Green in the 68 Ventures Bowl. That was our 5th bowl win. So a lot of things to build upon, but also, as we know, in the landscape of college football, you have to recreate yourself every single year. And I think it's never been more evident than this year's team.
So you bring back the quarterback, I'm going to presume, in this day and age of NIL, if Jaylen had opportunities to go somewhere else, what do you think brought him back?
Well, I think a number of things. I think, first of all, unfinished business. I think he's very well connected with our football team, but also within our community. And it's an opportunity for him to continue to grow and develop. And we take pride in being a developmental program, but, how can we create value for our players on a daily basis? And it really gets down to short-term gain versus long-term success. If he has goals and aspirations of playing on Sundays one day, then staying at the task at hand. He's done a good job of really going outside in terms of working the Manning Passing Academy, obviously instruction with John Gruden, all those things I think has really led him to his growth and his development.
All right, so I'm much more of a baseball guy. I can see things.
Who's your team?
Well, Yankees. From back in the day.
I'm a baseball guy too.
Okay. So I can see things more than maybe some others, whereas you're the football guy. You can tell me film and I still wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm going to tell you what I saw from Jaylen Raynor from year to year. All right. And you tell me where maybe I was wrong. So in his first year, he maybe overcompensated, didn't play well, tried to make the big play, came up short. Last year, it didn't seem like it mattered what he did through the first 2.5, 3 quarters. We're in a close game. We're going to go out. I'm not going to worry about what I did. I'm going to go out and win the ball game. All right. So this year, I want to see him be more consistently good. So instead of having to win a ball game at the end, maybe we're up 2 scores. The other team comes down and scores. I don't have to score. I can run a 4-minute offense, get a couple of first downs, and we win the ball game. Your favorite play? We're taking a knee.
Best play in football.
How was my assessment on Jaylen Raynor?
Pretty fair. You know, I think when you look at it,
We're just going to stop the recording right there. All right, coach said I was right, basically.
you know, Jaylen has kind of gone through the evolution of being a full-time starting quarterback.
Sure.
You know, you look at his first year, he was kind of thrown into it, didn't have time to really think about it.
Right.
And teams really didn't know what they were getting at the quarterback. So then you put basically a full season of your football identity on video, and then the expectations change. And I always say this, though, you know, all the eyes, and rightfully so, look at the quarterback, but really it's the other 10 individuals around that quarterback that really kind of make up who he is. And, you know, you brought up about winning games. We were 7-1 in 1-score games. We had a number of wins that we had to perform in a 2-minute. And I think 2 of them were with 50 seconds or less to go and 1 or no timeouts. And that's a byproduct of execution. But I think Jaylen's gone through the trials and tribulations. Now he goes into his 3rd year. I think he's had the most productive offseason he's had since he's been here. I think he's had the best offseason of anyone. And the thing, you know, as a coach, that's very comforting is you know what you're getting with Jaylen on a daily basis, the consistency and performance. We talk about playing the quarterback position. You have to be a CEO quarterback. You have to be able to solve problems, and Jaylen's a problem solver.
And what would you like to see him improve on?
You said it, consistency. I think, you know, just making the routine plays, make the routine throw. We always say, why is the shortstop make all the money? Because he can make the routine plays from short to first. There's your baseball analogy.
Right.
It's not going in the hole, making a diving stab. You're not getting paid for that. You're getting paid for your consistency and performance. So I think it's making the routine plays routinely on a consistent basis.
Talking to Butch Jones, Arkansas State head coach, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. We're at the 2025 Sunbelt Media Days. I don't know if it was under the radar or missed it, but you guys are playing Arkansas. And from my understanding, this is the first time you guys are ever playing. It's the only time that 2 FBS teams, you guys have never played each other. One team is downplaying it. The other team is playing it up, which I guess whatever it is. How much are you looking forward to it? And how much does it mean to the program?
Well, it means a lot, but, you know, we have to be where our feet are. And it's going to be a great challenge. We'll worry about that challenge during
Second week.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, during that. But what I will say is in the world of college football expansion and conference expansion and coast to coast, for 2 in-state schools to come together at a neutral site in Little Rock, our state capital, and play, that's as big for our players or their players it is for the entire state and the fan bases, but also the economic value that it brings to the state and to Little Rock, Arkansas. So there's a lot that goes into it, but make no mistake about it, it's going to be a great challenge. But we can't worry about that right now.
Right.
We have to focus on being a better football team. When you look at our overall dynamics of our schedule, we open up against SEMO, which is a traditional FCS powerhouse playoff football program. And then we go back to back with, you know, 2 top 25 opponents in Arkansas and Iowa State, and then have to go to Atlanta for Kennesaw. So the ability to start fast and finish strong, and we have to play 6 straight before a bye week. So it's going to test our endurance as a football program, but also our competitive depth as well.
All right. So 6 straight, but then you got a month of training camp. Is there somewhere in there? Do we give them a little bit of time off where we get ready for the season? Because now we're talking about 10 straight weeks playing football.
I think you have to be strategic,
right?
But football is such a rhythm-oriented game that you can't take too much time off, or you're kind of starting from ground zero again. So I think you have to be intentional in the way you structure your practices.
But 2 days can make a huge difference in terms of recovery.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, you know, we kind of have a formula in place we use everywhere we've been throughout the course of training camp. We never practice more than 3 days in a row. So I think that's really healthy. We try to simulate some in season, but also make no mistake about it too, is a lot of your toughness is born throughout the stages of training camp, particularly early.
Let's take a time out. We'll come back, continue our conversation with Butch Jones, talk about the Arkansas State Red Wolves athletic department as it has grown since his arrival. We'll do that after I tell you about Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's continue our conversation with the head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves, talking about the growth of the Arkansas State athletic program, along with the two guys that he brought along to Sunbelt Media Days, quarterback Jaylen Raynor and defensive back Brandon Barnes.
Talking to Butch Jones, head coach of Arkansas State. Tell us about the program, the athletic department, because it's grown, right? Basketball coach came and went, but he grew the program. New baseball coach just got a new contract to stick around. AD did leave to take another job, I think, outside of sports. And so, and you're there. I mean, technically, you're in your fifth year. Ricky Ronnie is technically in his sixth, but they didn't play that year, so I'm not sure how he sees that. Although I bet you he was getting paid. So you're the guy, and nobody's been in this league. ODU wasn't in the Sun Belt longer than you. So how have you seen Arkansas State grow over the last half a decade?
Well, I joked about it when I was on the podium. Is this will be my fourth athletic director, second systems president, and second chancellor. But I'm excited because of our leadership. Chris Pesman was just hired recently as our director of athletics. He's been an athletic director for 7 years, so he brings that experience that we're excited about. Our chancellor, Dr. Todd Shields, is an incredible visionary. Right now, we have the most enrollment we've ever had at Arkansas State. All of our dorms, all of our beds are filled, which is phenomenal. And then the overall direction of our systems with Dr. Brendan Kelly. So there's a lot of energy and momentum. Then you talk about not only the success of football, but basketball, women's basketball won the Sun Belt, all those things, baseball, the energy that is coming there. So there's a lot of energy, the golf programs, the volleyball programs. We have great connection amongst head coaches now.
Like a bowling dynasty.
Bowling dynasty. That's exactly right. So a lot of momentum and excitement to carry us and move us forward. And I think we're just scratching the surface of how good as an athletics department and as a university Arkansas State can be.
All right, so let's talk about on the field. Where's the strength outside of your guy, Jaylen Raynor?
Well, I think the biggest thing is how quickly can we come together having 60-plus new scholarship players, particularly on defense. But I do think we have competitive depth at our tight end position, competitive depth at the running back position. It's going to be vital that, we have some continuity in the development of our offensive line. We know this is a line of scrimmage game. Defensively, it's the defensive line. They're basically all brand new. We only have 2 individuals that have taken snaps for Arkansas State, and then the back end of our defense. So I think we have a lot of talent. I think we have a lot of ability. I think it's going to be the play intangibles and how quickly we can come together will be the most critical element for us.
All right, I got to ask you about him. I saw him play high school football. I didn't understand it at the time. I saw Josh Flowers for Baker High run away from the defense. For whatever reason, he felt he needed to run towards the defense, still outran him. How has his progress been playing behind Jaylen?
Yeah, he's been progressing. Obviously, a highly recruited individual out of Mobile. And I thought he's taken the next step forward, too, in terms of the quarterback intangibles. And I think that's a lot of a byproduct of being in the same room as Jaylen, that he's able to watch him. But as much as we said the development of our team, that's the other thing, is who's going to be our number 2 quarterback.
Right.
And so, I think Josh has been extremely productive. He's done a great job in the classroom as well. So I'm excited for his continual growth and development.
All right, tell us about this other sharp-dressed man, Brandon Barnes.
Well, again, we're asking a lot out of this young man.
Not teaching him how to dress, though. He's got that down pat.
He's got his swag.
Yeah,
he's got his swagger. So that's him. But, he's a second-year program player. So when you think about, he's representing our defense here at Media Days. So that speaks of a lot of trust that we have in him. He's a very talented individual, but that's the exciting thing about college football, is no 2 teams are ever the same. There's new roles, there's new opportunities, a new role for Brandon Barnes. And it starts with leadership. He was a part-time player at safety. Now he's a full-time starter at safety. He was a big catalyst on our special teams. He'll continue to be that. So new roles, new expectations, but there's anybody who can handle all that, it's Brandon Barnes.
How much fun are you having? Obviously, coaching is so much different than it was, even when you got the Arkansas State job, it's different than it is now. Are you still having fun coaching? Because, it's half headache, right? Trying to build a team, it's not what it used to be. It used to be go recruit the kids, they come, they stay, maybe some leave. But now it is, you need a general manager. You need to be able to build a roster and transfer. But how much fun are you having still just coaching football?
Well, that's why I'm still doing it. I love all the aspects of it. And I think you have to continue to grow and develop. We ask our players to grow and develop on a daily basis. We have to do the same as football coaches, and you have to adapt and adjust. Coach Saban used to say it all the time. You either adapt or you die. That's why there's no dinosaurs. And so you have to adapt. And, but, I still love keeping the main thing, people, building programs, building teams, building fundamentals and details, and teaching players what it takes to play winning football, that camaraderie that goes with it. So I'm having a blast.
He is the head coach of the Arkansas State Red Wolves. He is Butch Jones. He is Locked On Sunbelt. Thanks for hopping on the podcast. Best of luck this season, Coach.
Thank you. Always great speaking with you.
Let's take one more time out. We'll continue our conversation with the guys from Arkansas State. Quarterback Jaylen Raynor and defensive back Brandon Barnes. We'll do that right after I tell you about Game Time. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be all about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with killer last-minute deals. Tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal? Game Time's Zone Deals pick the best seats in your section for you. Ever wonder what your view will actually look like before you buy? The app shows you a panoramic seat view, so there are no surprises. With Game Time, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. Worried about what happens if plans change? The Game Time guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's wrap up the conversation with the guys from Arkansas State. How can Jaylen Raynor lead this team into contention in the Sunbelt? And let's talk about Brandon Barnes. How can he help lead the defense to improve, to help maybe slow down the opposition so Jaylen Raynor and company can score enough points to get A-State in contention in the West?
Hello, this is Butch Jones, head football coach at Arkansas State, and you're listening to Locked On Sunbelt podcast with the great Dave Schultz.
Dave Schultz back on Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. We're here with the guys from Arkansas State. We got quarterback Jaylen Raynor. We got safety Brandon Barnes. All right, Jaylen, you heard my assessment of you while I was talking to your head coach, Butch Jones. How close was I?
I think you were pretty spot on, to be honest. I agreed with a lot that you said. Coming from my freshman year, I was kind of thrown into it, like Coach Jones said. But you got to be ready for your opportunity. And then kind of building on that freshman season, being more experienced. But last year, I think my downfall where I didn't do as good was being as consistent as I could have been or should have been. But you got to do what you got to do to get the win. But a lot of the games didn't have to come down to those one score games, those 2-minute drives and things like that. We were just more consistent.
Now, I did ask him why you didn't win the job coming out of camp, and I didn't realize you guys were playing Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not get the 18-year-old killed. First thing, right?
Yeah.
So there was that, and I think you went into the Stony Brook game, and you've started ever since.
Yes, sir.
All right. So where do you think you improved from freshman to sophomore year, and what do you have to do? It's not necessarily being consistent, but maybe being ready from the first play of the game and not taking any plays off.
Where I took a big jump from my freshman season to last year, I think was mostly the mental side. Having more knowledge and experience with defensive football, knowing where I want to go with the ball versus this and what they're trying to do so I can combat it. Knowing my outlets and different concepts and things like that. Being able to find my check down and just not force anything is where I took a big step last year. And then coming from last year to this year, my main focus this offseason has really been the leadership role, taking on that role to be able to influence the people around me, to elevate them and influence them to be the best versions of themselves.
All right, so both you and your coach said you're thrown into it. How long did it take? And I always wonder this because it's not like you just started playing football. How long did it take before the game slowed down? Obviously, you've been playing quarterback a long time, but how long did it take before it slowed down from going from high school to college? Because obviously all the players are really good, right?
I would say since I got here early, or I got to college early, through spring ball, with all of the reps and different practices and different situations coming up. After spring ball, I was pretty confident and comfortable with the speed of the game, the flow of the game. It was just the experience, I would say, just the bank reps now that I have prior to how many I had then. So just the more and more you do it, you get more comfortable and more you're just really reacting rather than thinking and playing.
So let's think about Stony Brook.
Yeah.
All right. Being thrown into that game.
Yeah.
All right. Compared to Central Arkansas last year.
Yeah.
What was the feeling of those two ball games? Kind of like, I presume the Stony Brook game was maybe your mind was going too fast. And the Central Arkansas game, again, was he inbounds?
For sure he was.
Anyway, but at the Central Arkansas game, it was probably more cool, although it did come down to the end.
Yeah.
More cool, calm, and collected. Whereas the Stony Brook game was maybe just focusing on the one guy and I'm going to run.
The Stony Brook game, I knew I had a package going into the game, so I was kind of antsy thinking I was going to get in the game. I was ready to go in, but I wasn't sure. So we got that third down play. I think it was about 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and they called my number. It was a timeout, and they was like, we're going to run this run play that we've been working on all week. So I'm like, yes, I get my chance. So I was kind of antsy, and I was excited. I wasn't really nervous. I think I was more excited to go in, actually, but comparing that to this.
Was it an RPO? What was the play?
It was, I can't remember, actually. I think it was just like a straight quarterback.
Okay.
Power, to be honest.
Oh, all right.
It might have been a draw. But comparing that to our first game this year versus UCA, the time we had leading up to that game, which was our first game, I had way more time to prepare for that game rather than just a week. So I was super prepared. I was more kind of calm and collected.
So here, this would be the difference between you and me. Like in golf, they have, swing thoughts, be positive. What was your thought process when you're going in for the run process with the run? Because I would tell you what my thought process would be. Don't fumble.
Yeah.
I would fumble. Right.
Yeah.
What was your thought process, in that play?
Yeah.
When you're going in there, calling the play.
Yeah.
were you expected to stay in there, or were you going in the next play, or were you just trying to get the first down?
I was just trying to get the first down. It was about 3rd and 2, but looking back at the play, it could have been like a 70-yard touchdown. So it still gets me. It was a hole so big, and I just got the first down.
So you just concentrated on getting
I got the first down.
You would have got 70 yards?
Yes, it would have been like a 70-yard touchdown, first play, but we got the first down, and we scored that drive. So.
All right. So we're talking with Jaylen Raynor. All right. So let me talk to you about, again, Baker High. I saw him play. Josh Flowers, how is he coming along?
He's doing way better than he was in last season.
Sure.
Just with the mental aspect, how he carries himself, becoming more of a quarterback, I would say for sure. Kind of taking on his role of speaking up, kind of leading by example, and just like I said, being more of a quarterback. And he's getting way more comfortable with the offense, being able to fix problems on the field. Because quarterback is a problem solver. You have to be able to see things, point things out, fix it, and get them going. So he's doing a lot better. And I've kind of taken him under my wing to help him mature and get to where he needs to be.
Why did you come back to Arkansas State?
For sure, just the continuity and the connection that I have and the relationships that I've built over the time being here. It wasn't really too much to think about, or a hard decision to be able to stay. We're going in the right direction, and we have a lot of momentum coming on from last season. And I love it. I love the environment. I love the team. I love the coaches. I love everything about it. So I'm super excited about what we have brewing for this season.
All right, let's bring in safety Brandon Barnes. First-year starter, second-year player over there at Arkansas State. You heard what your coach said, moving up to special teams, part-time player. What did you learn now becoming a starter, moving in from part-time player last year?
Well, one of the main things that I learned is that the sense of urgency is a lot faster. You know, you don't have time to sit around and not do what you're supposed to do. So you need to learn what you need to learn. Take game like reps every chance you get, and just stay locked in at all times.
All right, so the defense has a lot of improvement. Arkansas State has not had a problem scoring. Where do you think you guys need to improve the most defensively?
Well, most definitely in the trenches. I think that's a part of our team that we've improved tremendously. We have some great guys that's on the defensive line: Trevante Mackey, Cody Singler, Simeon Mitchell, Brian Whitehead. Like, those guys are some dogs, and when they on fire, and they help us out a lot in the back end. So,
what did it mean when you heard Butch Jones say it meant for you, a second-year player, to come and represent the defense here at Media Day?
It was an honor, and I thanked him a lot for it. Being that he had that trust in me, and that my team trusted me enough to do this as well. I wouldn't necessarily say it was even about me. I was thankful for the team believing in me, being able to do this.
Talking with Jaylen Raynor and Brandon Barnes, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. A few more minutes with the Arkansas State Red Wolf guys. All right, so what does it mean to the guys? You get a Jaylen Raynor back. Mm-hmm. Cross coming back, and then I think he went in and they started coming back. Corey Rucker. I mean, you guys are explosive offensively. Yeah. I had someone telling me, they're not sure if they're going to be able to outscore everybody, and I'm telling you, got a third-year quarterback coming back, you got the running back coming back, and you got the wide receiver coming back. Mm-hmm. You don't think they're going to be able to outscore everybody?
Right.
It's a matter of you guys being able to get one stop, whether that's in the first, second, third, or fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
No pressure.
Oh yeah,
because these guys are going to be able to put up some points,
right?
At least. Allegedly.
What I would say about that is what we've practiced over the spring as everybody came together this spring is style of play. We all practice playing at one speed, and that's 100% full speed to the ball. Like I mentioned in the trenches, like, we have some dogs, but in the back end we also have some dogs as well. We have A.G. McGee that came from Marshall. They won the Sun Belt Championship last year. So he's a wise guy. That's an older player on our defense. Avante Dickerson came from Utah State. We've all come together and just practice that connection piece and playing full speed to the ball.
Now, you guys were picked third preseason. Okay. Some other places do not have you highly rated. I do. I'm a big guy, same coach, same quarterback.
Right.
All right. Very rarely in college football do we have same coach, same quarterback 3 years in a row. And we do in this case.
Yeah.
Why are people underestimating Arkansas State? Because I am not.
Well, I
Once
mean,
again, no pressure.
Yeah.
it's I really don't get into that, and it doesn't really matter, tell you the truth. I mean, we are where we are, and we are about each other. So it's not really about what anybody else thinks at the end of the day. You know, everybody look from the outside in, and you know, we can't worry about that.
He's Jaylen Raynor. He's Brandon Barnes. They are the Arkansas State Red Wolves, and they are locked on Sunbelt. Best of luck this season, guys. Thanks so much for hopping on the podcast.
Thank you.